My name is Bill Kenney, and I've been coming to Startup Istanbul and Startup Turkey for the last 4 or 5 years. And so my role here is everything from being the MC or the host to mentoring. I also do usually 1 or 2 speeches, but it's always a joy to get to know the startups and to have some influence in terms of their success. So I keep coming back because really of a couple of things. The team is incredible, the organizers at Tehum and Startup Turkey and Startup Istanbul, just wonderful people. I think the other main reason is the influence that entrepreneurship has in the world in terms of helping people find their independence. And it's neat if you have an idea that is scalable and massive and all of that. But my first goal is that you can decide your own destiny as opposed to maybe needing to work for somebody or whatnot, but that you can solve problems in your local market and build a good future for yourself and your family. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't really take on the role of an investor. I think it's something that I may do at some point, but currently I'm so focused on my business and building that that I think if I were going to be an investor, I'd want to be active and helping to support the company in a variety of ways besides just money. I think money is the simple part. Yeah, I think always, and I think the class of projects continues to improve each year. And I think the main things are you solving something that is valuable? Have you found a market, a customer segment that is desperate, that's urgent for a solution? And that's usually a good indicator that you're on to something that is worth solving. I think figuring that out before you worry about what the solution is really important, because if you go too far ahead of that, then you often will build something that either is there's not a problem associated with it, or it's the wrong solution for the problem. And so really making sure that you love your customer, that you understand who they are and what their priorities are is really the first priority. So I see companies and founders becoming more sophisticated in terms of understanding that. And so I think that's a really positive thing. Yeah, I think specifically in terms of what's being invested in, I think the big problems in the world, certainly there are many healthcare related issues. I think there's a lot of interest in cyber related, whether it's cybersecurity or communication or whatnot, I think is always very popular. And I think data in general, whether it's big data and the analytics of understanding trends and so many things that you can from data. I think looking at those energy and resource conservation are really, or production, are really also very important. So I think if you're trying to get investment, ultimately, are you solving something big for which there is a large market for, and that it's not a one-time opportunity. I mean, you look at energy or health, and we know that's going to be sort of, at least for the foreseeable future, those will be major issues. I mean, if you can figure out how to cure cancer, right? We know there's an existing market for that, and so I think anything related to those probably 5 segments, you're in really good shape. Yeah. So what makes Startup Turkey so important? I think it really is a variety of things. Number one is the diversity of people, the diversity of ideas that are here, the diversity of an investor and mentor and so on. And so the representation that's here certainly it's very dense through Eurasia, and then really every other continent has some representation as well. And the types of ideas range from highly scalable ideas to social enterprise and sort of everything in between. And so the leverage that's there is really good. And then the types of mentors and investors have experience across so many different industries. Besides the fact that Istanbul itself is an amazing setting, and it's a crossroads for so many people from so many different places, easy to commute into, and certainly it would be, for the right companies, it would be a great place to launch from or to continue to expand to. as well. So I think everything about sort of the event and the location make it very, very special. Yeah, so I'm not in the jury. They don't give me that responsibility. My job is probably more to entertain the audience while the jury is making the difficult decision. So thankfully, I'm relieved of that responsibility. So on Monday, the companies that pitch both in the early part and then also in the finals will be judged on consistent criteria. And it's really all about the company's traction. So what have they done so far to prove that there's an existing market for the solution that they have, what the problem is that they're solving, what the solution is and that fit, certainly what their team looks like, and then what the market potential is, how large that market is. Those are really the basic criteria that the jury will be evaluating, and ultimately it's difficult when you're looking at highly scalable, possibly technology companies against maybe a social enterprise. So it creates a very interesting challenge for the judges to sort of figure out within those criteria which are the ones that represent the sort of the best of the best here. Yeah, so I think one of the more fascinating things here is that for this particular cycle, for this year, Startup Turkey, there were 130,000 applicants that got narrowed down to a top 100. So really phenomenal. And the people that arrived here are already winners. They're already highly thought of and highly skilled, and they've got really good opportunities. And so what ends up coming out on Monday in terms of a top 3 and a winner and so on, you really are the best of the best. So the 130,000 are from over 150 countries. I mean, incredible diversity. And here we're representing in the people that will pitch, there are over 40 countries represented, and sort of the entire audience represents over 60 countries. So really, really phenomenal in terms of who's arrived and who's going to participate.